Hey guys, it's Emily Johnson with Gracious Healing. We're going to talk today about hydration as well as digestion. So we left off with talking last time about the importance of nutrition. The old saying was, you are what you eat. And while there is still some validity to that, there's so much more of not only you are what you eat, but you are what you absorb. So if our digestion is not working properly, if we're not properly hydrated, then nutrition will only get us so far. Digestion is one of those important conversations that while it is bio-individual, and it is incredibly important to honor that bio-individuality, there's certain processes of that digestion that you may need to see a practitioner to make sure that that process is working efficiently. One of my favorite autistic practitioners out there did a study, and they did a group of autistic children, and one of the biggest things that they did was just give them a digestive enzyme, and that alone made huge differences in their behavior. The theory then that they had come up with was that even though they were eating good nutrition, if they weren't absorbing it and that wasn't getting into their cells and building a strong foundation, then what was the point of super good nutrition? So digestion is incredibly important in our fast-paced society. Especially I see with children, digestion is often rushed and forced. So even the best nutrition, even the best supplementation, if not digested properly, isn't going to do us a whole lot of good. So the big idea with digestion is it starts north to south. So we're thinking that it starts in our brain. So every time we go to sit down, we think, oh, maybe digestion starts in our teeth or in our stomach, but digestion truly starts in the brain. So one of the best things to do with you and your family is as you sit down to eat, to really think about the fact that we're about to digest. So getting that into our brains, taking some really good deep breaths. Sometimes my family laughs at me because we'll pause, especially if we're in a hurry or maybe food has been rushed to the table. They'll kind of laugh at me because we'll sit down and I'll say, okay, wait, we didn't take our deep breaths yet. So everybody has to stop and they have to take the big deep breaths in before we pray, even just to get us into a really good parasympathetic state. Then we kind of move into, once the brain has recognized that it is time for us to eat, then as we enter food into our mouth, using our teeth as well as saliva, it starts to immediately break down that food. And then as we swallow, it goes into the stomach and then the intestines. And then eventually you excrete anything that your body didn't need. So there are some overall things that we can do to help aid digestion. Again, this is not bio-individual. This is just some good overall tips that are just going to be helpful when it comes to making sure that we are properly digesting the food that we're eating. So one of the things we can do is start each meal off some warm lemon water, broth. Having things like broth-based soup can be really good just to start something easy to digest. Apple cider vinegar, things that are a little bit bitter, can be really good to start to get those digestive juices flowing. And then what we want to do is we want to look at how long we're eating our meals. Again, I see in this society, we're just so quick to scarf our meals down. I always laugh with my family because sometimes it seems like I will spend hours cooking a meal only to turn around and it's gone in like 10 minutes. So as a good reminder, being able to eat slowly. These can be things like chewing your food very efficiently, using those teeth and that saliva to really help the process of digestion. And then we're looking at how long does it take us to eat a meal? It should take us on average 20 to 30 minutes. Most of us don't do that, including myself. Sometimes we have to remind myself and my family to just slow down, to just be able to enjoy each other and to be able to sit and enjoy the food, to eat nice and slowly, keeping that body in that parasympathetic state. Where we're in a stressed, anxious state, digestion isn't top priority for our bodies. So we want to make sure that we are in that relaxed state. Things like not eating in the car on the run, things like fast food and things, watching TV while we eat, things that are going to make us consume more calories really quickly without the slow process of digestion. And then we're looking at things like putting your fork down in between each meal. That can really help slow your roll so that you're not overly consuming. It gives the brain time to let you know when the stomach is full. One of the biggest components to leaky gut is over consuming food. It can also be an issue with type 2 diabetes and those type of things. When we just are over consuming food, it puts a lot of stress on our digestion. So while there are lots of other great things for digestion, these are some of the things you could implement today with your family when it comes to, are you utilizing the amazing nutrients and food that you're putting in your body? Again, another key point of that digestion is going to be how well you absorb things. So nutrition is the building block, but if we're not getting that nutrition inside the cell and breaking it down efficiently, then we are only as good as what we absorb. And then kind of moving into hydration. Most of us know that we're supposed to drink water. Most of us don't drink enough water. And depending on what we're eating, if we're eating a lot of processed foods, we're definitely not getting enough water or hydration within our bodies. So a good question I like to ask clients as well as friends and family when hydration comes up is, how long can you go without food? You can go 3-4 weeks without food. You may not be comfortable, but you can do it. Your body will not die. But how long can you really go without consuming water? Our body has the ability to produce some water on its own, but very, very, very little. Most of what we get in terms of hydration is through drinking water. You can only go about 3 days without drinking any water. That is that important to your body. Most of us live in a chronic dehydration state, whether that be because we're not actually drinking enough pure, clean water. It might be because we're eating so many overprocessed, salty foods. And again, salt is a fun conversation because salt in and of itself in a whole form, the way God created it, is not a bad thing. Something like a gray sea salt or a pink Himalayan salt, those are beautifully balanced in all of our minerals that we need to really absorb hydration or absorb that water. But when most salt that's used in processed foods is just your sodium. So if everything in the body is in perfect balance, when we consume a lot of just straight sodium, unfortunately what happens is we get incredibly dehydrated because the body has to then pull minerals from inside other cells to help with that electric current that you need with minerals and water to make a lot of the processes that are important to our body. So drinking enough water every day, preferably pure water, because water, unfortunately, that we know, even tap water can be really high in heavy metals and parasites and some other things. So getting something like our Berkey water system, and there's some other really great water systems out there. So having that filtration system can be really important for your health. And then looking at, are we drinking, again, this is not bio-individual, this suggestion. So we always want to honor that. But a good overall guideline for a lot of people is half of your body weight in ounces, never exceeding more than 100, because that can be really hard on your kidneys. So we're always looking at, how much do I weigh? How much do my kids weigh? Are they consuming that much water in a day? And then keeping in mind, every time we do things that are either really sugary or like a diuretic, caffeine, something like that, we need 8 ounces of any juice, Gatorade, coffee, anything like that. We need to make sure we're replacing it with at least 8 ounces to 12 ounces of water. So you can see where that ends up being a lot of water a day. And if we're trying to kind of avoid drinking a lot around meal times to help aid digestion, we're wanting to make sure that we get all those really good glasses of water in between our meals. One of my favorite ways to really wake up digestion, to wake up the body in the morning, is through water. So waking up every morning and having at least 16 ounces of water start to really wake up all that good bacteria within the gut. They fall asleep just like we fall asleep. So getting some water in us first thing, about 30 minutes to an hour before we eat anything, can help absorption, and it can really help to start kind of waking up those good bacteria that you're going to need throughout the day. Some other things with water are just making sure that we are not only consuming good water, that we are getting enough electrolytes in our water. So again, using a gray salt or a pink salt, putting a little bit of a dash into your water can really help with that absorption. So these are just a few thoughts or ideas when it comes to hydration and nutrition, and just the significance and importance of that in your diet. I will have links or more information about water sources specifically in the description below. And don't forget, most of this is going to be included in my family wellness guide, along with additional information. So make sure you're on my email list, because that will be sent out at the end of this video series. It'll be sent out through my email list, so make sure you're on that. I post a lot of information on my Instagram page, so make sure you follow me over there. And if you guys could do me a huge favor and like and subscribe to this video channel, as well as share it with someone that may find it helpful. Thanks, guys.